Adaora woke up gasping. The fan above creaked in slow, lazy turns. Her Ankara wrapper was half off, sweat glistening on her forehead. She sat up suddenly, whispering to herself that it was happening again. Then she heard it. Her eyes moved to the floor. Footprints. Wet ones. Trailing from the closed wooden door, directly to her bed. But the door was still locked from the inside. Her hands trembled as she reached for the padlock. She twisted the key, unhooked the lock, and pulled the door open. The hallway beyond was empty. Empty, except for a single old photograph lying at the threshold. She bent to pick it up. It was her own face staring back, but the image was faded and water-stained, as though it had been submerged. On the back, in jagged red ink, were the words, "You forgot who you are." Her body stiffened. She turned sharply toward the room, only to find nothing. The fan above had stopped completely. The clock on her wall ticked backward. This was no ordinary haunting. It was a reminder. Adaora was not alone. It was the beginning of March. The sun was boiling, Lagos traffic was wild, and Adaora was tired. Every morning, she left her family house in Badagry at 4 a.m. Downfall. Traffic. Shouting conductors. Noise. Sweat. Stress. By the time she got to work in Yoba, she was already finished. Her back ached. Her head spun. Her boss called her lazy once. That day, she cried in the toilet. She needed her own space. Somewhere closer. So she searched. 1 week became 2. 2 became 4. She saw hellish houses. Rooms with one window nailed shut, toilets without roofs, even one flat with a shrine in the kitchen made from Coke bottles and red cloth. And just when she was about to give up, she saw it. A banner hanging on a brown gate. Tiolet, one room self-contained, clean, water, quiet, 130,000 Nigerian nairas per year, Olowu Street, Iketon. Call Chief Agbedike. 130,000 Nigerian nairas. Too cheap. It sounded like a scam. But her spirit said, try. She called. The voice on the other end was come, to come. My daughter, the old man said, come this evening. You go thank me later. She arrived around 5 p.m. The compound was too quiet. No generator noise. No children crying. No smell of pepper soup or kerosene. Just peace. The gate was polished. The walls looked like they'd just been painted. The mango tree dropped not a single leaf. She saw the room, tiled floor, clean toilet, running tap, window facing the road. She asked, is this house new? The landlord. Chief Agbedike, an elderly Igbo man in white kaftan with 3 tribal marks on his cheeks, smiled. Not new, he said, but this house only accepts the people it likes. Adaora laughed. She thought he was joking. She paid the next day. At first, everything was calm. Too calm. No knocking. No shouting. No loud TV. Just silence, like a hospital waiting room. The woman upstairs never spoke, just nodded. The man across the corridor smiled, but only with his lips. His eyes were like glass, hollow. They didn't borrow salt. They didn't ask for help. They just existed. Adaora liked it, at first. She used her 4G MiFi, watched sermons on YouTube, played soft worship music every night. But slowly, things began to change. She started waking up tired. Not ordinary tired, but like someone who had run through a battlefield. She forgot simple things. Her ATM PIN. Her friend's birthday. Her own email password. She thought it was stress. Lagos was stressful, right? Then the dreams began. At first, it was just darkness. A thick, choking darkness that swallowed all sound. Then, a wooden door appeared. Standing alone in a dark room. Old. ancient, silent. Every night, the same door. Just standing there. But somehow, whispering her name without a mouth. Adaora stopped telling people. In Lagos, when strange things happen, people say, pray. Ignore it. Face your hustle. So she prayed. But the door kept coming. 3 months passed. Adaora quit her job. She had become slow. Weak. Always late. Always confused. Her boss had warned her 3 times. By the 4th mistake, they let her go. She told her best friend, Kemi, that it was burnout. But she knew something deeper was wrong. She began to observe her neighbors. Shinonso, the boy upstairs, had been writing jam for 6 years. 6 years. Each time, his computer would crash. Or his thumbprint would fail. Mom came downstairs, sold Accra. But somehow, her oil always burned. Every single time. Joy, in room 2A, had a booming Instagram hair business. Over 20,000 followers. But for the past 5 months, no sales. They were stuck. Like time had forgotten them. But somehow, they never left. Adaora asked F, her neighbor with headphones always on. Have you noticed that nothing works for people here? F just shrugged. This is Lagos. Not everything has a reason. But Adaora knew. There was a reason. And it was watching her. Night 98. Her wall clock stopped. 2:34 a.m. She changed the battery. Still dead. Next night, her phone alarm rang on its own. 2:34 a.m. She opened her calendar, all her plans were gone. She searched the spiritual problems in rented houses. The browser closed itself. She tried to open her Bible app. It crashed. And then the dream came again. But this time, the door opened. Inside the room were pictures. Hundreds of old photographs, covering the walls. People. Smiling. Young. Familiar. Then she saw them clearly. Shinonso. Mom came. Joy. And herself. Smiling. But fading like paper dipped in water. A deep voice echoed. This is where they stay, when they forget who they are. She woke up. Sweating. Gasping. But she wasn't alone. Wet footprints led from her door to her bed. But her door, still locked. From the inside. By day 100, Adaora was empty. No strength. No job. No friends. No money. Even her prayers felt like whispers in a vacuum. The door didn't wait for dreams anymore. It followed her. In mirrors. In windows. In puddle reflections. She would see her reflection behind the door. Surrounded by fading faces. Joy's face. Shinonso's. Mom and Kem's. Silent. Watching. That morning, she didn't brush. She didn't bathe. She packed a small black nylon. Her Bible. Her wrapper. Her phone. She slid her room key under the flower pot. And walked out of house 79. Barefoot. No one stopped her. No one said goodbye. She walked into the sun. Into the noise of Iketon. Into life. But the people passing by didn't notice her. Some say she was later seen at Iona Ipoja, praying for strangers in white. Others say she moved back to Bedegri, teaching young girls about spiritual sensitivity. But here's what really happened. Adaora survived. But not just because she left. She fought to find herself again. It took time. For weeks, her mind felt like fog. She couldn't pray. Couldn't think. Could barely sleep without waking up in fear. But slowly, the light returned. She started attending night vigils with her mother. She met an elderly woman who prayed with her every day, not just to break the hold of the house, but to remind her who she truly was. Adaora began journaling. She wrote down every dream, every whisper, every strange thing she remembered. And one day, she burned the journal, as a sign that the past no longer held her. Months passed. She took a short online course in digital marketing, volunteered at her church, started counseling girls going through spiritual battles in silence. Then, one day, she got a call. A remote tech startup had seen her old CV. They loved her writing. They offered her a new role. And that's how Adaora started over, not in fear, but with fire in her spirit. Today, she still walks past compounds and buildings that look too quiet. And every time she sees a "to let" sign, she whispers to herself, "Not all open doors are meant to be entered." Adaora didn't just escape. She reclaimed her life.